Do you have any tips for how to develop your palate?
So I would suggest, and I suggested this to Adam with Dreamer Cigars, is when somebody wants to develop their palate, find a good tobacconist. And you can read as much as you want, but if you go into a shop and a good tobacconist is going to guide you along the way through with your cigar journey. So he's going to like, hey, if you haven't smoked yet, here, try this. Then he's going to ask you like, what did you like, what didn't you like? And so then he'll help you find your next cigar and your next cigar, and then eventually you're going to find one that you really like, and then you're going to go back to it. Then you're going to get bored of that one, and then he's going to say, hey, well, try this one. So a good tobacconist would be my suggestion there.
I know someone, as a second part of this question, someone reached out to me on social media a couple weeks ago, and they were saying that, or were there any cigars that didn't have like a woodsy or cedary taste to them? And I was like, well, in my opinion, I was like, that's kind of what, a cigar is like probably going to taste like. Like, you're not going to get, I think a lot of people get confused with flavors, with palates, because you read the reviews and they're like, oh, it tastes like dark chocolate and Cocoa
Yeah.
Puffs and all this other stuff. And they're like, and then they taste the cigar and they're like, I have no idea what they're talking about. It doesn't taste like that at all. So, I think we have to figure out as an industry how to help people develop their palates and how to talk about flavors, and that, and the different parts of the tongue that get stimulated by different things. And maybe like when you say a cigar is sweet, you mean it may stimulate that part of your tongue. It's not necessarily, going to taste like cherry Coke.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, I'd suggest to go to a lounge and, you know, start to befriend some cigar smokers that like have a good palate and smoke a cigar that they're smoking and just ask what those flavored notes are and just see if you can pick up the same notes. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll pick up something completely different. Nobody knows.
What did you learn about the palate and tasting cigars from when you were creating some of your cigars, like Cryptid and El Professor and the new Blackfoot? Like, what did you learn from, like, I guess, being down in the factory, working with the blenders? Did you learn anything new about your own palate or about tasting cigars that you can kind of share with the audience?
Oh, well, with the cryptid, uh, we were talking to Carlos and we said, hey, can we make like a really full, like knock you in the face cigar? And that's the wrong thing to say to a Cuban. And so he comes out with this stick and it's got a bunch of Lajero in it. And I smoke it and like, I wasn't ready for that amount of nicotine. And it like smacked me in the face and the side of you could see the veins on the side of my head pumping. So, I would suggest don't go too strong because you don't want to scare yourself away from it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for answering that question. And for anyone watching, if you have a question, you can leave it in the comment section of this video, and your question may be answered by a future guest. And if you want to see more of this interview with Brandon, it's on the YouTube channel, so youtube.com/deepcutslive, or you can go to deepcutslive.com, and it should hopefully be uploaded there.